Today is Thursday, May 8th, 2025. I'm calling the Utilities Chair, or the Utilities Committee to order. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Casey.
Present.
Spencer.
Here.
Bishop. Ray. Hodge.
Here.
Kelly. Valencia.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Today we have a rather robust agenda. We have 15 pieces of legislation. To my committee members, this is heavy because I worked with the director so that we could do as much as we could today before we go on break so that we wouldn't have to inconvenience anybody, if that's such a thing, to meet over the summer months. So, Director, if you want to come up to the table. We're going to go in numeric order, so whether it's water pollution control, or Cleveland Public Power, we're just going to go right down the calendar. So starting it off, ordinance number 325, 2025 by council members Casey and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to enter into one or more contracts with Oracle America, Inc. for the hosting and managed services support associated with the Oracle Customer Care and Billing System for the Division of Water and Cleveland Public Power, Department of Public Utilities, for a period of 2 years with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Public Utilities. Director, I think this is to keep our licenses up to date, correct?
That is a big part of it, yes, Chairman. The Oracle Customer Care and Billing System manages customer billing, meter reading, meter inventory, customer appointments, and related reporting. And it is also integrated with several systems like AMR, bill printing, electronic bill presentment, payment, and cashiering. It is an Oracle-based process. We have worked for a number of years to try to streamline these licensing and hosting services. We've done a good job, but it is very expensive. The licensing portion of it is every single user that we have, and we also must have a license for every single customer we have. So it's very expensive. We also have worked, put a lot of work into the redundancy of the system, and also in terms of cybersecurity, the security of the system. So this is kind of the brain of our CCMB from a cloud-based customer-oriented system.
And can you just give us a couple of examples of what these licenses are?
The licensing are interesting. They are, like I said, every customer we need a license. It's our piece of the pie as we have migrated into the cloud, so we have no hard servers that can fall victim to something bad. It is all cloud-based. Everything that we do, every customer interaction, every customer itself, every additional function that we add requires a license. So it's, in the best way that I can explain it, is it's a piece of the pie for a particular customer or system. And Chief Lasik is happy to give you the detail.
Briefly, Chief, if you'd like.
Every processing power, all the memory, all the database licenses, anything in the back, any security that goes with it, and to the director's point, any residential or commercial client, they all are licensed together.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? All right, Director, and we had this conversation when we met to go over legislation. Let's make sure that all our licenses and contracts are up to date and bring them back before any expiration in the future.
Yes, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Ordinance number 331, 2025 by council members Casey and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to employ one or more professionals to develop, market, implement, and manage the residential service contract and protection plan program for the Division of Water and Water Pollution Control for a period of 4 years with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable through additional legislative authority, and to extend contract PS 2020-265 with HomeServe USA Corp. for a period or periods not to exceed a total of 1 year. Again, this is the HomeServe. It's going out to bid this time, correct?
Yes, Chairman, and I know much to Council's chagrin, so this is a twofold piece of legislation. We have currently serviced HomeServe which are serving about 70,000 customers of the Department of Public Utilities for water line, sewer line protection, other plumbing protection programs. We are asking for a one-year extension on that contract. The primary purpose of that extension is while we go out to bid and scour the industry for the latest and greatest to serve our customers, we know that the transition, should it be from A to B or A to A, regardless, the transition is time-consuming, and we want to give our customers as much upfront notice as possible. So we're asking for an extension of HomeServe, and we are the first to admit that we have had ups and downs with the services that they are providing to our customers. We hear from the customers. We regularly get the feedback from our customers for about a year and a half. The commissioner has taken point on negotiating and bettering those services, making them better. They were having trouble, as a lot of people, getting local to do the work. And what we were having concerns with, maybe not the responsiveness of HomeServe to the customer, but the vendor, that the plumber, the sewer contractor that HomeServe hired to serve that customer, that level of communication. Commissioner Margavish and his team have run point from a water side. Interim Commissioner Lopez has been integral in this negotiations. It took a little longer than we had hoped, but we believe that we're in a better place now, and are sound in our recommendation to request one more year with HomeServe as we go out and bid it. And the bid process is extensive, and there are more players in the industry every day providing these services, so we are excited about it, but we know that it's a lot of time. So we don't like asking for extensions. When we come with a piece of legislation, we hope to have it all buttoned up in that amount of time. However, in this instance, I have no other choice but then to request a one-year extension of HomeServe and give us the authority to go out and see who's providing these services to similar customers across the nation.
All right, and I see in your executive summary, we've got 70,000 customers with HomeServe, roughly 46,000 and change were claims that have been serviced for a total of $20 million. Does HomeServe charge, do we pay per customer or do we pay per claim?
Chairman, we, the Department of Public Utilities, don't pay.
Okay.
So we select the best vendor available and then offer those services to the customer. Once our customer collectively elects to participate in HomeServe, then the relationship is between the customer and HomeServe.
Okay. And do we know what that charge is per month per customer?
I believe it was $8 for water line.
They vary,
Turn your mic on.
Councilman.
Turn your mic
sorry.
$6, sorry.
They vary. Between $4 to $8, depending on what the item is per month for each of the policies that the customer chooses.
All right, any questions from the committee? Councilman Polensek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my honorable colleagues, to the director and to the commissioner. I think you've answered some of my questions, but now the 70, you said 70,000?
Chairman of the Councilman, that's correct.
Is that just within the city or within the system?
Chairman of the Councilman, that's the entire system.
Okay,
And
within
of
the-
the seven, I apologize for cutting you off, but of those 70,000 customers who participate, there's 168,000 plans. So those 70 can elect for more than one: water line, sewer line, internal plumbing, landscaping.
Yes.
Just a point that.
I'm like most people, I get this stuff in the mail, and I often wonder, is it worth it or not? Okay, because I'm not only getting it from HomeServe, but I'm getting them from other companies as well, and I get them about the gas lines and everything. And I think, again, in today's world, a lot of people are very skeptical of all this. So you've indicated that the both of you have had concerns or issues. Do we know for a fact with HomeServe who are the vendors that they are utilizing? Do we know who their subs are?
Chairman of the council member, we do.
Okay. I would request through the chair that we could see that list of subs, because that might be able to tell us a whole lot of who they're utilizing, et cetera, et cetera. Because this is very important. Water bills and sewer bills in the, a long time ago, I got to quit saying in the day, a long time ago, were relatively cheap. And we know now that water and sewer is now a major utility every month for most residents. And especially, if you have children at home where you're washing clothes a lot and all the shebang, I mean, I look at my daughter's water bill with 3 boys, and I said, hey, yeah, what, are you running a car wash here? But the fact of the matter is, it is a major utility today. So if we are encouraging people to utilize HomeServe, I want to make sure that our citizens, our customers are protected. That if they do have a problem, because to lose a hot water tank today is what, about $800, $800, $900 to get replaced?
Just to buy it is $800,
Okay. And then
if you were to do that, right?
Yeah, and then you can, go down the list with everything else, and I don't have to tell you, if a sewer, if your sanitary sewer line gets clogged or blocked, what that's gonna cost. So, but I want to make sure that if citizens are adding this, Mr. Chairman, my colleague, I want to make sure citizens are adding these additional costs, our customers are adding the additional costs to their bill. We have to make sure that they're getting the right service, that they're getting good service, and it doesn't take forever, and they don't get jerked around, and their problem gets addressed. That's, to me, that service, delivery of services is my #1 concern and issue. So as we go forward, whatever documentation you can provide to us. So this contract for HomeServe will end when?
So it'll end the first quarter of 2026 is what we're asking for the extension with HomeServe. And once we get the authority, we will immediately turn around and go out to bid to seek. So we want an additional, so HomeServe is a 1-year extension. In order for us to go out and find the next vendor, whoever that is, publicly procure it, and then transition to that, right? So the HomeServe conversation, what we're seeking in this legislation is a 1-year extension. We're also seeking the authority to find out who in the industry is the next HomeServe.
Okay.
Because we publicly procure this contract, because those level of service concerns are our concerns as well.
So to wrap it up, I contract with HomeServe, I got a clogged sewer, I contact them directly, I don't contact the city. But if I'm not satisfied, who do I go to then?
Chairman of the council member, then it is us.
Okay,
We do log and track and work with HomeServe, and they don't have to call. We get a lot of those phone calls through the chairman of the councilman, and then we connect them with HomeServe. And it's I wish there was an easier way to communicate that the relationship that they pay while it's on your water bill is with HomeServe.
Right.
So there is a lot of hand-holding, which we're happy to do, because
Okay.
that's why they get paid by the customer.
yeah, maybe there's a better, in the bill, maybe there's a way to put an insert that better explains the city's responsibility and role in this process, and to indicate, because again, you get these things in the mail, you don't know if we know that the city has a relationship with HomeServe, but we don't have a relationship with all these other characters that are sending us, whether it be gas lines or whatever the case may be. So again, maybe some broader explanation in the bill, Mr. Chairman, to the director and to the commissioner, as to this is the company we deal with, and et cetera, better explanation. But at the end of the day, I just want to make sure our customers are specifically being serviced, because again, to come up with those monthly bills, especially for working poor and elderly, I'm very much aware of the implications and the stress that they're under. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, and I kind of, relate this to insurance, right? Basically, nobody wants to pay for insurance, but nobody wants to use it, but
Yeah.
if you need it,
That's right.
you want to have this, because this work is overly expensive to come out of pocket if you don't have some sort of protection. Any other questions on 331-2025? Councilwoman Spencer.
Just a brief question, Mr. Chair. As we go out to bid for other possible vendors, I don't have a sense of what premiums are like right now, and if that's a barrier for a lot of our customers, especially in the city of Cleveland. But would a premium affordability be one of the factors we're looking for in a new vendor through the
Chairman of
chair?
the council member, absolutely. And affordability, to Councilman Polensic's point, just the consumption is, we recognize and are closely aligned with the burden on our customer. But should that that water line burst in the tree, in the front lawn, beyond the utilities responsibility, that burden and unexpected, nobody plans for it, nobody budgets for it. There's no way to reduce that cost by way of consumption, efficiency, higher efficient toilet and refrigerator. So yes, the premium, that type of activity and service is what we're seeking in the bid. And we know, because we know the industry, we know that those have changed over the last 5 years.
Okay.
So that's our effort. That's our
Alrighty.
hope.
Thank you.
Any
Thanks,
other-
Mr.
Any
Chair.
other questions? All right, 331-2025 stands approved. Please sign up. Going back to 325-2025, I forgot to announce 325-2025 stands approved. Please sign up for that one, too. All right. 332-2025 by council members Casey and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts of water mains, fire hydrants, service connections, valves, and appurtenances for the Division of Water, and one or more requirement contracts for concrete repair, tree lawn restoration, pavement restoration, including but not limited to materials, labors, and installations as necessary for the Division of Water, Water Pollution Control, and Cleveland Public Power, Department of Public Utilities for a period or periods not to exceed a total of 2 years. Director, this is going out to bid. This is about $23 million a year. Currently, we have 5 different contracts, correct?
Chairman, that's correct. This is what we refer to as our contract assistance ordinance. So every couple of years, I think 2 years, we go out to bid and seek a number of different vendors to supplement our existing staff at the Division of Water, Water Pollution Control, and Cleveland Public Power. Probably, as with anything, timing is not the best on this, as you are all getting calls for the tree lawn restoration from the inordinate amount of water main breaks that we went through in 2020, late '24, early '25. So when our existing staff when we cannot keep up with those dramatic increases in one of these services, one of these line items, we rely on the contract assistance portion allowed for in this ordinance to get in and get the work done on behalf of the customer. So it is a regularly occurring. We also bake into this some of the complex or unique situations that we on occasion run into by way of large jobs in a big intersection that are tough to manage, would take all of our crews and all of our heavy equipment for an extended period of time. We rely on this and we budget for those. We do the best that we can, but you would see an increase a little bit from 2 years ago, as we have experienced some significantly complex utility work downtown Cleveland specifically, 9th.
Oh, yeah, I was going to, East Ninth is a great example of where we would use this piece of legislation.
That's correct, Chairman. While, not our preference we want the work, we want our workers doing this work, we want our equipment doing this work, but there are instances through a year and all the curveballs that it can bring in terms of delivering high-quality utility. We need this safety net, and we use it sparingly as we can. We try to diversify by way of multiple contracts to not just give a big bomb to one vendor. We like to spread it out. We know that there are certain bidders who have specializations in certain things: sewers, water, potable water, mains, asphalt, concrete, underground, complex stuff. So it's certainly not an ordinance that this committee typically asks of us, because there's a lot in here, but it is a very important ordinance in delivering the services that we have to deliver.
And then, Director, it looks like of the current 5 contractors that we use now, 4 of them are Cleveland, one's right outside of Cleveland, and they're all CSB compliant?
That's correct, Chairman, and they all, 4 of the 5 expire later this year.
Okay.
So we want to go out to bid as soon as possible.
Any questions on 332-2025?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Polensek?
so this would be beyond like a contract where we award a contract, let's say for water line installation.
Oh.
This is beyond that.
Chairman of the council member, that's correct. A public improvement contract for a water main on X street, we
Right.
would certainly get legislative authority and go out to bid. These are having these firms or vendors available to provide the everyday services that we have to provide to support our existing staff.
And Mr. Chairman, to the director and to the committee, you're satisfied with the work of these 5 vendors?
Yes, but we're going out to bid, so we have no idea what vendors will result from this piece of legislation.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on 332, 2025? Seeing none, 332, 2025 stands approved. Please sign up. Ordinance number 384, 2025, by council members Casey and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to enter into one or more requirement contracts without competitive bidding for Cron Liebing Company for the purchase of proprietary parts and services to install, maintain, repair, and replace Gorman-Rupp pump equipment for the Division of Water Pollution Control, Department of Public Utilities for a period of 2 years. Director, direct award, proprietary.
Yes, correct. Thank you, Chairman. So the Division of Water Pollution Control has 11 pump stations citywide. 64% of the pumps are Gorman-Rupp pumps. Gorman-Rupp's only, the only vendor that provides services and warranties to Gorman-Rupp pump equipment is Crown Leaving Company. So we are seeking authority to continue that relationship for 2 years. Anticipated cost $100,000 per year.
All right, any questions on 384, 2025?
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman Harsh?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to the director, recently, the Quicken, is it Quickens or the project on the west bank of the river, they're putting in a water, they're putting in a utility station. Bedrock, I'm sorry, yeah, thank you, at their own cost. And I think they're building a water pump station down there, wasn't?
Chairman, to the council member, that's a forced main sewer pump station for, currently operated by Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District.
They're doing that for, I know, Neo RST.
Moving it as part of their project.
Okay. How much does one of these pumps cost? You said, I know the contract is $100,000 a year, but how much does it cost to build one of these?
Brand new? Do you have any idea?
Are these $1 million, tens of millions?
No, hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
And again, this is the maintenance of
Yeah,
these
that's just-
specific pumps. And as long as you do that regularly, hopefully we don't have to replace any of them anytime
That was, I was
soon.
just trying to wrap my head around the, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Polensek?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So these are the underground pumps that help facilitate, like on Nottingham? Is that what, that's what these are, the Gorman pumps, the underground pumps that help elevate?
Chairman of the council member, yes, move
Okay.
the sewers that we're responsible for as a division, water pollution control, to these pumps assist those moving in the direction they
Okay,
need to move.
that's what I'm trying to, okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
All right, any other questions on 384, 2025? Seeing none, 384, 2025 stands approved. Please sign up. Ordinance number 424, 2025, by council members Casey and Griffin, by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to exercise the first option to renew contract number PS 2023-0208 with Pinckney Enterprises LCA DBA Take a Break Quick Catering to provide for the operation of a first-class food and beverage service at the Carl B. Stokes Utilities Building. Director, I think first class has everything to do with the palate of the person eating the food.
I think that's the name of the company.
I know.
Chairman, yes, thank you. So we have a very small kitchen at 1201 Lakeside in the Carl B. Stokes Public Utilities Building. This is the operator of, under a concession agreement of that kitchen. They have some new items if the council or committee is ever coming soon. We have, as with anything, had peaks and valleys, but we are at a good place. We are recommending continuing this for 1 year. They do have smoothies. I pack my lunch, but any of you are more than welcome to come over. At any time.
Quesadillas, turkey bacon,
Yes, sir.
Where are they located?
in the Stokes Building, Carl B.
So
Stokes.
at 1201, in the front, it would be the northwest corner of
First floor.
1201, first floor, is a little cafeteria for our employees, and and there's a kitchen, it's 600 square feet. It's easy to miss,
Okay.
but
Any-
packs a punch.
Any questions on 424-2025? Seeing none, 424-2025 stands approved. Please sign up. Ordinance number 426-2025 by Councilmembers Casey and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance determining the method of making public improvements and maintaining and improving the interior and exterior of various buildings and sites, including but not limited to roofs and related building and site systems, authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to enter into one or more public improvement contracts to construct the improvement, authorizing the Director to employ one or more professional consultants necessary to design the improvement, and authorizing the Director to apply for and accept any grants, including but not limited to grants from the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District for Community Cost Sharing Program funding for a period of 2 years. This expires in 2025. This is for improvements at DPU properties. Director, is this part of the capital plan for the city, or does the DPU have its own capital plan?
So, Chairman, we do have our own capital plan, and no, this ordinance wouldn't be considered. Some of the improvements might be considered capital, but however, any planned upgrades to our facilities would come in a standalone piece of legislation. This is in the event of a failure. If the roof at Baldwin or the roof at Kirby is damaged and needs a patch, or the equipment or the people underneath it will get wet, we use this. HVAC is a big part of that, but it's, again, the not planned capital improvements. These are on a as-needed basis. We do not use it for big-ticket items. Windows get broken, caulking leaks. We have sensitive infrastructure in a number of different facilities. We budget it accordingly by the number of sites associated that we need to maintain on behalf of our customers, and then we budget accordingly, but we really hope not to spend all of the money that we're asking for, but in the event of it being needed, we also, these do not lend themselves to allow us to get an ordinance introduced and passed in every instance, because this is on an as-needed basis to maintain the integrity of our systems.
So this is basically upkeep and maintenance.
Of multiple facilities that are used 24 hours a day.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
What?
I have a question.
Oh. All right. Any questions from the committee?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Palenza.
So, Mr. Chairman, my honorable colleagues, to the Director, we see water, 2.2 million, CPP, 1,050,000, WPC, 1.5, ORC, 100,000. What did we spend last year?
I do not have that, Chairman of the council member. I will be able to get that very quickly to you. I apologize.
So, but this is, you're recommending to us that these are the dollar amounts that we set aside for each of the divisions?
That's correct, and Chairman of the council member, again, that's not really historical. That's the number of facilities or equipment.
No.
Just like the last ordinance with 11 pumps for WPC, those are underground. If that vault or something were to happen,
Yeah.
we need the flexibility to immediately get that back in order. If the chemical feed storage building at Nottingham or Garrett Morgan breaks, we hope to, Engel Road?
A single roof.
A single roof, yes, could go $400,000. But I'll get you a
No,
complete breakdown of the last 2 years and the amount.
No, I mean, I would classify this as being proactive,
Thank you.
making sure. Maybe you ought to work with the Division of Fire to help them, okay?
How we roll at the DPU.
That's right. That's right. The Division of Fire and Public Safety should be talking to you, okay, about their roofs. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that, first of all, these are adequate amounts that we're setting aside, but it would be interesting to see what we spent last year, because again, we do not want to put Band-Aids on roofs,
No, okay.
as what we have found far too often in other divisions, a Band-Aid approach, and then the next thing we know, we have major infrastructure problems within the building, as we're finding out within the Division of Public Safety. So again, I would be interested to see how much you spent last year, and that's it, Mr. Chairman. I think it's being proactive, and I wholeheartedly support it.
Thank you. And Director, this is like 4.8 million over 2 years, correct? So
That's correct, Jim.
Right. So it looks like it could be a lot, it could not be a lot, depending on what we get. But if you could get us not only the list that Councilman Polensek asked for, but also, can you just get us a list of all the facilities that fall under DPU? You know, all the water plants, all the whatever buildings we own and maintain, that if something went wrong would fall under this ordinance.
Yes, Chairman.
All right, any other questions on 426, 2025? Seeing none, 426, 2025 stands approved. Please sign up. (432) 2025 by Councilmembers Casey and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts for labor and materials needed to clean high-voltage insulators, bushings, lighting arresters, transformers, and associated equipment at various locations for the Division of Cleveland Public Power, Department of Public Utilities, for a period not to exceed a total of 2 years. This is going out to bid, Director?
That's correct, Chairman. The regular maintenance of these necessary electrical and components is essential to the delivery of the service. It's also expensive. We're seeking authority to go out to bid and get the best costs for our customers. Anticipated $425,000 per year. Current contract expires early next year.
Director, your anticipated cost is $425,000. The current contract that expires next year is for 1.1. Are we underestimating?
That is, I apologize, that is a typo. The estimated cost per year is $425,000. That contract expires next year, so it's $850,000 for 2 years. The last 2-year contract, we budgeted for 1.1. Currently encumbered about 420. We're a year in. I'm doing the math, which I shouldn't, but I believe it to be about $425,000 per year for the regular maintenance of bushings and things that the commissioner's happy to explain to you.
Commissioner, you want to explain anything?
Chair, I think covered it pretty well. It's essentially anytime you deal with electricity, you need to keep the electricity where it should be. So insulators, bushings, that kind of thing can accumulate grime, bird poo, salt, especially around here in some of these areas. All of those things transmit electricity and then can allow the electricity to go where you don't want it to go. So essentially becomes a safety and reliability issue. So we just have to keep everything clean.
All right, any questions on 432, 2025?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilwoman Spencer?
I just had a brief question since we're educating ourselves on this topic. I was wondering through the chair to the commissioner, is this climate related? In other words, is our climate require this type of work more than a different, I mean, is this cold weather related or our type of weather related? Service through the chair.
Through the chair, weather can definitely have an influence on it. The local conditions definitely can. I would say of the things that I expect climate change to influence at CPP, I don't think realistically this will be one of them.
Thank you, Councilwoman Spencer. Councilman Polensek?
Mr. Chairman, my honorable colleagues, does this have anything to do with the substations?
Through the chair, yes, definitely.
Okay, well, I went down South Waterloo Road 2 days ago, and there's somebody out there taking pictures of the substation on South Waterloo Road.
Chairman of the council member, yes, we have a plan
Okay.
together. This ordinance is the electrical components of
Okay.
the substation, nothing to do with landscaping, aesthetics, but we do have a plan that we're happy to discuss with you.
Okay, I'd like to know what that plan is, because I don't know who was taking pictures out
We
there.
do, Chairman of the council
Okay.
member.
You folks were taking the pictures?
We know who,
Oh, okay, well, because that's become an embarrassment over there, I'm gonna tell you that right now, and I'm not happy with it at all, believe me when I tell you this. That's got to get fixed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions on 432, 2025? Seeing none, 432, 2025 stands approved. Please sign up. (433, 2025) by Councilmembers Casey and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts for rigging services for the Division of Cleveland Public Power, Department of Public Utilities for a period or periods not to exceed a total of 2 years. Director, this is going out to bid. I know the current contract is local.
Yes, that's correct, Chairman. This is going out to bid. The current contract expires in early next year. Current vendor is right down here on Davenport, a couple blocks from us. Division of Cleveland Public Power seeks authority to contract with a professional rigging contractor, complete with the equipment and skilled labor to safely transport and install heavy, yet delicate, high-voltage electric equipment typical to the electric utility companies. 2 years, we budget $200,000.
And Director, can you just, for those who don't understand what rigging is, can you just explain rigging, or Commissioner?
Pick up a really big thing that can break and put it on a truck and move it, and then put it somewhere safely. Rigging, tying, shoring, transporting, things that we don't do on a regular basis, nor should we have experts in that field. So rigging services is lifting, securing, and transporting.
All right, any questions
And installing.
on 433, 2025? Seeing none, 433, 2025 stands approved. Please sign up. Ordinance number 463, 2025, by council members Casey and Griffin, by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to enter into one or more requirement contracts without competitive bidding with BIS NUS Inc. for the purchase of various proprietary equipments and services to maintain and replace existing components for various drinking water systems for the Division of Water, Department of Public Utilities, for a period of 2 years. Director, it's a direct award because this is proprietary, correct?
That's correct. Chairman, several manufacturers authorize BizNUS to be their sole representative and supplier of proprietary equipment and services in Northeast Ohio. Those manufacturers are listed in your executive summary. But this will allow us to maintain and replace components, including but not limited to valve parts, process scale parts, sensors, pump parts, chemical feed equipment parts, proprietary computerized hardware, training and computer firmware updates. Current contract expires later this month. There is a typo. We have increased our annual budget to $700,000 approximately per year. That would raise it to $1.4 million over the 2-year anticipated contract, but still less than what we paid last, because we did do some component replacements, some more in-depth maintenance and replacements and upgrades over the last 2 years, so we shouldn't have to do that again, Commissioner? We shouldn't have to do that?
Is that why the current contract's $2 million and this one's only 1.4?
That is correct, Chairman.
Okay. Any questions on 463, 2025? Seeing none, 463, 2025 stands approved. Please sign up. 464, 2025, by councilmembers Casey and Griffin, by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to exercise the first option to renew contract number CT 2002 PS 2024-23 with Partners Environmental Consulting, Inc. to provide environmental health, safety, and engineering services for the Division of Water, Water Pollution Control, and Cleveland Public Power, Department of Public Utilities. Director, this is a renewal for 26 and 27, and I'm going to assume that you're happy with the current contractor?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Partners Environmental Consulting, Inc. has provided the technically and administratively and delivered a quality work product at competitive rates. The majority of the tasks that we have assigned to partners were completed below the estimated cost and with exactly what we asked for. So we are seeking authority to continue that 1-year renewal option year with Partners Environmental.
All right, any questions on 464, 2025? 460, seeing no questions, 464, 2025 stands approved. Please sign up. Ordinance number 490, 2025, by councilmembers Casey and Griffin, by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts of underwater diving, inspection, cleaning, debris removal, and occasional repairs of submerged and water-filled facilities for the Division of Water, Department of Public Utilities, for a period of 1 or 2 years. This is going out to bid. It expires November, December. It's $1 million budget. This is for the people to go in underwater, Director?
That is correct, Chairman. In some instances, we need debris removed from raw water intake, 120 feet deep, potentially inside confined spaces. Sometimes they need a boat, diving gear, and in certain instances, a hyperbaric decompression chamber, all of which we don't have. So we need to contract out, and we are seeking the authority to go out to bid these services for a 2-year anticipated $500,000 a year. Again, that is routine inspection and maintenance, but in the event that we have something that happened, we would utilize these services to fully understand what we need to do to fix it.
Director, is this 500, is this $1 million, or is this, because anticipated cost, you got $1 million a year, right? This is 2 million total?
The requirements contract is estimated to cost $1 million over its 2-year term, so we budget $500,000 per year from SF001.
In the executive summary, you got year 1, $1 million, year 2, $1 million. Oh, no, wait a minute, maybe I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm sorry.
You know, it's hard enough.
Any questions on 490? Councilman Harsh.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a general curiosity. I did not know that Lake Erie is deep enough to require a hyperbaric chamber for divers. It's only like 60 feet deep on average, but 120 feet deep? Okay. Through the chair.
Our intake tunnels descend 50 more feet below the bottom of the lake. So they're over 100 feet of water head above them when they're in the intake tunnel.
So they have to swim into a tunnel at the
They have to
bottom of the
swim
lake.
down into a tunnel and clean debris out down there, yes.
To the, through the chair, to the cowboys who do this. How many of these people are employed in this field? Does Northeast Ohio have like a dozen of these people? Are there 6 of them? Or is there one person, like they call Ed every time they need to go into the tunnel? Ed puts his gear on and jumps down there and.
Alex does.
I'm just curious through the chair, like, do you guys know like how many people do this type of work?
Chairman, to the council member, we do get more than one bid. For a number of years, it has been a local vendor
Underwater marine.
on Clinton Avenue, giving the most competitive and
Yeah.
complete bid, but there are a handful of other bids that are submitted.
And do you know if this is like their full-time job, or this is something they do, like this is a service they provide with their other services, or they're the divers and they dive every day and that's what they do for a living?
Chairman of the council member, this work is very specialized and unique and in some instances dangerous. They do
Yeah.
travel quite a
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
and extensively throughout the country, if not the world, when they are specialized in this type of work. So we're lucky to have one local that gives us a fair price, but
interesting.
we have to be prepared for that not to be the case, right? I mean, it's a unique nature, part of what we do.
Yeah. Thank you. Just curious.
Any other questions on 490, 2025? God bless those cowboys. Yeah, yeah. All right, seeing none, 490, 2025 stands approved. 492, 2025, by Councilmembers Casey and Griffin, by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts of water pumps, electric motors, controllers, transformers, circuit breakers, switchgear and appurtenances, and for materials, equipment, supplies, parts, and services necessary to test, maintain, replace, and repair water pumps, electric motors, controls, transformers, circuit breakers, switchgears, and appurtenances, including but not limited to inspection, supplies, repairing, testing, labor, and installation if necessary for the Division of Water, Department of Public Utilities for a period of 2 years. Director, this one is the one that's $1 million a year budgeted, and this is going out to bid, and we got our contracts expiring in November and December.
That's correct, Chairman. This is going out to bid. We do budget $1 million a year for those, the pumps, motors, controls, transformers, circuit breakers, switch gears, and appurtenances. We do typically award more than one contract, given the specialized nature and uniqueness of the varying pumps going back many, many years. And some of the plants are different than others. So we do like to have a selection of vendors with redundant specializations, but also unique specializations. And that's why you will see that we did let 3 contracts under the last piece of legislation enabling us, and they do expire towards the end of this year, early next year, and we'd like to get out on the street before then.
And I see the last contracts kind of exceeded $2 million, if you add them up, so is this $2 million going to be enough?
Chairman, yes, we budget about $2 million. Again, those are the contract amounts that we entered into. Currently encumbered on the majority of those is less than $800,000. So we are, in most instances, a year and a half into a 2-year contract, and we're encumbered $800,000. So we do award amounts in the event of a complete replacement, but again, if we know about it in advance on a pump, you're getting a piece of legislation for a complete upgrade, and we are bidding specifically to that line of work. This is fix it when it's broke.
Okay. Any questions on 492, 2025? Seeing none, 492, 2025 stands approved. Please sign up. Director, my favorite piece of legislation every 2 years. I can't wait for this one to roll around, every 2 years. Ordinance number 527, 2025, by council members Casey and Griffin, by departmental request. An emergency ordinance to amend Section 1 of Ordinance number 1086-2023, passed November 13th, 2023, relating to authorizing the general fund to receive and use revenue from tax remittances collected by Cleveland Public Power during the years 2024 and 2025, and transfer 100% of tax remittances collected to both years back to Cleveland Public's Power to extend through additional years. Director.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. This is every 2 years. So under the Ohio Revised Code, the Division of Cleveland Public Power is required to charge our customers a kilowatt-hour tax. We then remit that tax payment to the state of Ohio in accordance with the revised, the ORC. Then they remit it to the general fund on an annual basis. This ordinance allows the general fund to remit that back to the Division of Cleveland Public Power for our operating expenses. I had extensive conversations with Chief Barrett on this, and he is fully supportive of a 100% remittance back to the Division of Cleveland Public Power, as that tax would not exist without. And the commissioner's happy to tell the committee about how important it is to our operation. We anticipate budget approximately $6 million a year in the kilowatt-hour tax.
Commissioner, you want to say anything on this?
Through the chair, I think just that it's essential for our operations. It's very close to our capital fund, essentially. And our capital is how we stay in front of problems and make improvements.
All right, any questions on 527, 2025?
Yes.
Councilman Polensek.
Yes, thank you. I'm having a problem with my laptop here. It keeps going on the fritz here. So you said approximately 6 million?
Chairman of the council member, that's correct. 2024, it was 5.8. We are budgeting in 2025, 6 million.
Okay, because I can't tell, I can't get it on here. And it's earmarked specifically for capital?
Chairman, to the council member, no, it is operating funds of the Division of Cleveland Public Power. I believe the commissioner just made it by way of example. It's equivalent to if the general fund were to elect, or council were to elect, I apologize, not to remit 100%. Obviously, the only way we can shave immediate budgetary items would be on the capital side. So it was just by way of example. But it is essential to meet the needs of our customers.
Okay, so it goes into the general operating fund at Cleveland Public Power.
Chairman of the councilman, that's correct.
Okay, so at some point, are you going to be bringing forward, we know the administration is working on a capital plan for the general fund, but is there going to be some type of capital plan coming forward sometime soon on Cleveland Public Power?
Chairman of the council member, our 2025 capital outlay for all the divisions of the Department of Public Utilities were presented both at our operational review hearing.
I'm aware of that.
And then again at the budget hearing.
Right.
But we're happy to provide that
Okay.
to you.
Because the conditions of substations concern me greatly. As you know, the Collinwood infrastructure is probably one of the oldest. The Collinwood area is one of the oldest in the city of Cleveland due to the annexation that took place in the early 1900s. So I'm just trying to get a better understanding as it pertains to when some of these issues with regard to frequent power outages, the infrastructure, which is ancient, when will that be addressed? Toward the end of this year or going into next year?
Director.
Chairman of the council member, happy to provide the capital outlay for 2025 again.
Okay. I want to see what it's doing because I'm the one that gets the phone calls when the power goes out. And it goes out far too frequently in that neighborhood. And so I need to understand, get a better understanding as it pertains to what the game plan is. And then again, the conditions of some of these substations, which are embarrassment to my community, I have to look at them and the condition that they're in. And then as it pertains to replacement of fractured poles, would this be this would fall under this category as well, correct?
Director.
Replacement of
Chairman to
poles.
the council member, the remittance of the kilowatt-hour tax to the operating budget of the Division of Cleveland Public Power,
Right.
every dollar goes to
Yes.
serving our customers.
Okay. Far too many fractured poles laying around in the city, still up there.
Doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
mean that they're Cleveland Public Power.
No, I understand that, Mr. Chairman. I understand that, but out my way, the majority of them are. So I want to make sure that we're addressing these ongoing concerns, which I am very aggressive on. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions on 527, 2025? Councilwoman Spencer.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, through the chair, who sets the rates for this kilowatt hour tax? How is that established? By what authority? Through the
Chairman to the council member, the state.
The state. So the state basically mandates that all electric utilities collect this tax at a certain rate? Is that blanket statewide?
That's correct, Chairman. The uniqueness is we are a municipal electric, right? So if you didn't have that municipal electric, it would stay in the state. But because we have the luxury of having this tremendous asset, the state's required to remit it back to the municipality.
Okay.
So it's, another reason why CPP is
So, yeah.
really important.
Very good. So again, to the tune of $6 million a year, so we'll
Correct.
take it. And then just one more comment. I'm glad this is our chairman's favorite piece of legislation every 2 years. And I'm really pleased to see here in the summary that starting in 2018, the general fund returned 100% of the collections. Previously, it was 50%. So I'm just very pleased that, that we will be continuing with that 100% return to CPP. So just a comment there.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Spencer. Councilman Harsh.
Through the chair, I'm curious about this too, because it's uncommon for the state to be favorable.
Yeah,
Through the chair, was this because of a tax cut in Columbus?
Was what, Chairman?
The remittance of the 100% instead of 50%?
No.
That's, Chairman to the council member, that's the city. That's,
city used to only
Yeah.
give us 50.
Oh, the city used to hold 50%.
right.
if there was a lot, Chairman,
Yeah.
So then why does the state even require the tax that they remit 100% back to us?
Chairman to the council member, the only reason they do to us is because we're a municipal electric. There's a lot of municipalities in the state of Ohio that do not have a municipal electric
Sure.
service. The state keeps those dollars.
Can I have a point on that?
Oh, so this is a benefit of having a municipal
Yep.
provider in the first place?
Chairman of the councilman, that's correct.
I see, that's interesting. Okay, that's all, I was just curious. Yeah.
On that point.
Go ahead.
So like,
Learning.
it's not working today. Like an AEP or First Energy, those municipalities served by those would not get to see this come back to their local government.
Chairman of the council member, that's correct.
All right, thank you. Any other questions on 527, 2025? Seeing none, 527, 2025 stands approved. Please sign up. 529, 2025, by council members Casey and Griffin, by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to exercise the second option to renew contract numbers PS 2023-175 with AMSIV LLC and PS 2023-262 with Kubra Data Transfer Limited to provide professional consultants to host and manage billing systems and related systems and activities. Director, this is a renewal, and I'm going to assume because you want to renew it, you're good and you're happy with the current contractors?
Yes, Chairman. Critical to what we do every day for our customers, it is the bill print and mail print, preparing, printing, and mailing bills, statements, and letters to customers is the AMSIV side of this contract, and then necessary also is Kubra with the electronic bill presentment and payment, processing of electrical bill payments, hosting of bill payments, storing and presenting of bills electronically. Critical to how we serve our customers, and we do recommend exercising the second option to renew.
Any questions on 529, 2025? Make sure the
Yeah,
bills
I have
get
a
out.
question.
Councilman Polensek?
Mr. Chairman, on so this would be the actual bill that goes out, correct?
Chairman, to the council member, that's correct. So our billing system, our customer care and billing system that we talked about earlier through Oracle sends that information from the AMR, meter consumption, to this vendor to print the bill and mail the bill to over 450,000 accounts on the water side.
Okay. Are
WPC.
we restricted, Mr. Chairman, to the director as to what we can put in that bill as it pertains to inserts?
Chairman, to the council member, restricted, as long as it's for the customer.
Yeah. You know, I was at a meeting last night, and we were talking about a bunch of city issues. And one of the complaints that I've been getting this last week, I'm sure my colleagues have as well, is complaints about high grass. I'm not talking vacant lots. I'm talking occupied homes with high grass. And I was thinking last night on my way home, you know, what about if there's a way that we can notify customers within the city of Cleveland? You know, when your grass exceeds 8 inches, you got to cut your grass. You're in violation of the codified. What can we, in the things that we mail out, what additional information can we put in there to just educate our citizens on issues that we're confronted with?
Chairman of the council member, I mean, typically we do water quality.
Yeah,
When our water
I
quality
understand that.
report comes out, our lead service connection
Right.
program, things like that. Our open house this Saturday at Baldwin, historic event.
Yeah.
Hopefully council will join us, those kinds of things.
Right.
We do some other citywide things.
Yes.
It's important to point out that they're scheduled typically about 3 months in advance.
Okay.
And there is a cost to the printing.
Yeah.
That we would not, our customers wouldn't pay for.
Okay.
So, and as with, you know, with any other communication from the city,
Right.
who reads it?
Yeah, well, because I've come to the realization, I can't speak to other neighborhoods, but about a third of my residents, at least a third, they're not on computers. They're not on smartphones. They're getting their information in the mail, or they're watching TV, or listening to a radio. I'm always trying to figure out how we can better enlighten our residents as to certain things happening in the city, code requirements, stipulations, et cetera. So, okay, you've answered my question. I'm just trying to figure out how we can better educate our folks as it pertains to what their responsibilities are within the city. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Councilman Fulensick. Any other questions on 529, 2025? Seeing none, 525 stands approved. Please sign up. Our last piece of legislation, ordinance number 532, 2025, by Councilmembers Casey and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to employ one or more professional consultants to assist in the management of Program Year 4 of the city's project of replacing various lead and galvanized service lines, authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts and/or standard contracts of copper service lines, copper connections, and related appurtenances, including but not limited to materials, labor, and installation, if necessary, for the Division of Water, and authorizing the Director of Public Utilities and/or the Director of Finance to apply for and accept one or more water supply revolving loan account loans, grants, and other funding. Director, we are going into year 4 of this program, correct?
That's correct, Chairman. Seeking authority, hopefully council is familiar with the efforts of the Division of Water to take advantage of these bipartisan infrastructure law dollars. This is year 4's request. We did, obviously, years 1 through 3. 1 is done, completed, approximately $30 million. Year 2 is very close to being done, another $30 million. Year 3 is currently out to bid, what we anticipate to be approximately $70 to $90 million. This would be year 4. We have nominated for the funds in March, which we have the authority to do by council, but we do not have the authority to accept we need legislative authority in order for the approval by the state, which we anticipate to be June, July, I think, of 2025. So we're seeking authority for year 4. We have done and been very aggressive on the lead service connections. I really hope the council has seen our crews out there and is familiar with the process. There are changes coming or reviews underway by the federal government to the state, to us, and we will continue to keep council informed as we figure it out. It's a changing environment, as council's familiar with, but these dollars remain available under the bipartisan infrastructure law. We are aggressively seeking these dollars and getting the lead out to the best of our abilities.
Chairman, I have a
Director, do you know how much you're going for in year 4?
So in year 4, Chairman, as you'll see in the executive summary, we have to outline the number of contracts, and it's gotten bigger every year. And in this one, we have to list 22 contracts, so we break that out. In year 3, we did 9 for lead connections. We budgeted about 3 million. Well, we had hoped to be about 2 million, came in about, we're anticipating 3 million. So again, our effort is to diversify the workforce, get a really good, diverse vendor pool, and provide the services to our customer. We think it's a number of contracts, but again, upwards of $90 million. We don't know until we get the dollars.
Would this be an example of Brookside Avenue in Ward 16?
Chairman, Brookside was a sewer project, but we got the lead out before the sewer project. Baltic Avenue, I mean, in everybody's ward, when we know of a construction project, we coordinate these vendors to get the lead out before whoever else is coming in to do the work.
All right. Any questions on 532, 2025? Councilwoman Spencer.
Thank you. Okay, this lead service line replacement is one of my favorite things to talk about, Mr. Chair, so just give me a minute here. First, I want to start with some thanks. I've had just a phenomenal experience working with the Division of Water on this. Jose Hernandez's team, Brenda Collar, Joshua Pesek, they're all just outstanding professionals, so responsive. They've done a tremendous amount to educate me about this work. And I'm really excited that we continue to grow the program and make progress with these replacements. On the connected but separate is the Division of Water Pollution Control and just coordination around their sewer replacement projects and then coordination with lead service lines. So Commissioner, please thank Cecilia Mazzi for being, again, so responsive and so professional. It's just been a phenomenal experience working with all the DPU professionals on this work. So it's just been great. I wanted to ask a couple things with our commissioner here, the benefit of picking your brain. I do my best to educate the public about this lead service line replacement, meaning that it's something that we want to do. However, our drinking water is safe, even if you're not getting your line replaced. So through the chair to the commissioner, can you just kind of give us a refresher on, because sometimes one block will get the notice, but the next block won't, and then people start worrying, well, what about me? So wanting to just to have a quick refresher on the public education piece related to this. through the
Certainly.
chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to the councilwoman. So the federal government first introduced the lead and copper rule back in the early 90s. We did a number of testing then to determine how much lead was in the drinking water then. The results of that determined that we had to make treatment optimization and changes to how we treat the water. So since 1997, we have been adding a chemical called orthophosphate to the drinking water. That coats the inside portion of the lead service lines and sequesters or separates the metallic lead from the drinking water. The amount of lead in our drinking water has dropped tenfold as a result of that process. The current federal limit is 15 parts per billion lead. We're like under 3. We're 2.5, something like that. We're well below the federal limit. So we like to say that our drinking water is safe as a result of what we do, certainly well within the limits of the Safe Drinking Water Act as a result. Nevertheless, the federal government, through the lead and copper rule improvements that was finally promulgated last October, mandates the removal of lead lines. So by the year 2037, as the law currently stands. So we, as the director points out, because the BIL money, the bipartisan infrastructure law money, is essentially 53% free to us right now, all the reason for us to be aggressive in pursuing that money and getting as much out as we can as long as this 5-year program is around, because there is no designated funding that's in place now for after that period. So take advantage of this money while we can.
Thank you. And that was really my follow-up question as well, related to the federal bipartisan infrastructure law dollars. Is any of it at risk of getting clawed back? Are we good through the end of year 5? So we're talking about year 4 right now. Where does all that stand, through the chair?
Mr. Chairman, I can tell you, and to the councilwoman, that we are in constant touch with our contacts in Washington, D.C. And, one of the things is no one knows for absolute certainty what could or could not happen. We have seen clawbacks in other areas, as you've seen. But we are getting no scuttlebutt or no feel yet that this $15 billion is on the table for that at the moment. Some tell us because that legislation was passed in a bipartisan way at the time, that they think it's perhaps less susceptible to clawback. So we're certainly hoping that it won't be clawed back at this time, and that full $15 billion will be available for this purpose.
Thank you. But in theory, as of now, the state of Ohio has received its full share, and we are going after that money on an annual basis to then draw down, or through the chair?
Yes, Councilwoman, it is administered on an annual basis. So the total state of Ohio allocation is $738 million, again, that we are aggressively pursuing. But I guess I'm not going to pretend to know the details of if any of that could be clawed back or not at this point in time.
Notwithstanding all of that, we are confident that that year 4 is fully funded and we are proceeding. Through the
We're
chair.
certainly planning that way, with the full intention of taking advantage of that. And the state of Ohio is not giving us any indication that it won't be available.
Okay, all right. Important program. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Polinsek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my honorable colleagues. The money was allocated, the funds were allocated by an act of Congress, correct?
Correct.
So the $738 million that the state of Ohio has, did the Ohio legislature, did they have to vote to accept that?
Not to our knowledge, Chairman of the Councilman. I mean, it was through the US EPA to the state of Ohio's Environmental Protection Agency.
Okay,
Who
so-
administers the federal funds for the state of Ohio.
So we don't follow up on the commissioner's comments, so we don't have to worry about the good old boys in Columbus trying to reallocate the funds someplace else, do we?
Chairman of the council member, we always worry, but we aggressively pursue and take full advantage of every resource available to our customer.
Okay. The number of customers or households or connections, we've done 7,600 so far?
Correct, Mr. Chairman, to the council.
That is within the system or just within Cleveland?
That's within the entire water system.
Within the entire water system. Do you have any indication, Mr. Chairman, to the commissioner, how many lead connections still exist in the city?
Mr. Chairman, on the city-owned portion, which
Right.
is where the majority of the lead is,
Yes.
our best estimate at the moment is about 130,000 still.
Still?
Correct.
Okay. So, and that's both residential and commercial?
Mr. Chairman, lead only exists in the smaller diameters.
Okay.
Inch and smaller. So most commercial places have larger connections, 2-inch, 3-inch, and historically those went in as cast iron, not out of lead. So commercial isn't really where the story is.
So based on our funding stream, the revenue stream that we have received to date, what would be your anticipation as to when all the 130,000, when would those be addressed? Over
Mr.
what
Chairman,
period
to
of
the
time?
council member, I mean, the funding has not been identified. So the lead and copper rule as reinstituted in late last year gives us 10 years from 2027, so 2037. But we do not have a plan for all of them. We're trying to aggressively pursue what we do know is a funding stream as we put a plan together to comply with federal law.
So you would believe under the present, we would have the 130,000 completed if funding did not change in 2037, correct? Is that what?
We don't have the funding for 130,000 lead connections
You
by
do not.
2037.
You do not.
Absolutely not.
What do you think you could address by that period of time?
whatever's available by the federal government to support the removal of lead.
Okay. Do we have anything within our general operating budget directed toward lead besides this?
In every water main replacement program, Chairman of the Council Member, for the last 12 years, we have removed any lead connection.
Okay. Do you have it broken down by area, by ward, where the most concentration is at this point?
There is a map, Chairman of the Council Member, on Cleveland Water's website.
Okay.
You can see it.
Okay. So then customers would know what neighborhoods or what areas of the city have the highest.
And they also
count.
received a letter
Yep.
from the commissioner himself.
So I'm assuming it's the oldest neighborhoods in the city, correct?
Mr. Chairman, lead stopped being used in 1950. Much of the city was built out by then.
Right.
So any areas after that won't have lead, but most of the city, there's lots of lead all throughout the city.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
So then, the other point I want to ask, this protocol that you have, if your business is closed, your commercial business is closed, if your home is vacant, and the water has been shut off, this protocol where you have to somehow figure out if you have lead in your line or not. Explain that one briefly to us.
So, Mr. Chairman, if a service line remains active, if the account remains active,
Right.
the service connection remains in place. However, when we do like a main replacement, for example, and we come across a vacant property, and the old water main had an old connection to it, we generally don't put a new connection back to the vacant property because we just don't know if they're going to need it, when they're going to need it.
Okay.
Similarly, if an account goes inactive, and I know the one you're referring to on
Right.
St. Clair,
Yeah.
that service connection has been inactive since 1987, okay, made out of lead, almost certainly made out of lead. We don't know for 100% certainty, but if a connection has been inactive for an extended period, the orthophosphate chemical needs to constantly flow through the connection to maintain good protection through the service connection. If a connection has been inactive like that for an extended period, almost for sure, if you try to reuse that connection, you're going to get a burst of lead for several months. Research shows up to 6 months, you're going to get elevated lead levels. So we say if there's been an inactive connection like that, unless the property owner can dig it up and prove it's not lead, we say it's not a connection, it's not available as a service connection, and we treat it like any other property that has no service connection, where it's incumbent on the property owner to pay for the first-time initial connection going to that property.
But Mr. Chairman, to the commissioner, you just indicated lead lines stopped being installed in 1950.
Correct.
That property was built after 1950.
It was, so Mr. Chairman, the service connection, however, went in, if I recall, in the 20s.
Okay.
The city portion went in the 20s. It was the practice oftentimes. We know that by the connection number. That's what, and looking at the connection card.
Yes.
That one went in the 20s. Strong chance it's lead. The owner's portion from that portion, and if that got built in the 60s,
Yes.
that portion likely is copper. And she proved it by visually witnessing it copper, so she's good on that side.
Right.
But it's the city portion that's the problem.
And you're going to fix that portion, the city portion.
It doesn't need to be fixed, Chairman of the Council Member.
So that that does not have to be dug up on the city.
If a customer applies for water service, it's their responsibility to connect, just like every other new customer we're getting in the Division of
Okay.
Water.
I'm not going to belabor the point. All I'm saying is this. We have to be mindful of small businesses, of homeowners, what it costs to do this. Okay? And here's a small minority business who's trying to open up a business in the Glenville neighborhood. And man, she's gone through nothing but hoops and loops and roadblocks. And at some point, we have to be proactive to help people as best as we can. I'm not asking anyone to do anything out of the ordinary.
It
I
is
think
out
we
of the
have to-
ordinary,
wait,
Chairman.
But I think, again,
And
we have to be
we have
mindful.
to apply the policies equally to all of our customers,
Okay.
or we shouldn't have the policies.
But we also want businesses. We also
We
don't want
completely
abandoned
agree.
buildings in our neighborhood as well.
Since 1987.
So I'm just saying that This is, we have to be mindful of what people are experiencing when they try to open up a business or a business that had been closed for some period of time. And I'll leave it at that, but I want to make sure that we are, again, we're proactive, we're doing everything we can, and try to get as many of these connections as completed as possible. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions on 532-2025? Seeing none, 532-2025 stands approved. Please sign up. Director, thank you to yourself, to all your commissioners, Water Pollution Control, Cleveland Public Power, and as always, thank the hardworking individuals of the Department of Public Utilities as they do jobs that none of us on this side of the table would want to take on, and we extremely appreciate the fact that they keep the water on and the electricity going. Also, don't, oh, go ahead, you can say it. No, go ahead.
Commissioner Dawes.
Go ahead, Commissioner. Make it
Mr.
quick.
Chairman, thank you very much. I think you all probably received notice. Our open house, our annual open house is this year. It will be at the Baldwin Water Treatment Plant this Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. You're all invited to come. And Baldwin, it's a special year at Baldwin. It's the 100th anniversary of that plant coming live. So starting on that date in September 1925, all of Clevelanders got treated, safe, potable water,
And what's-
filtered water.
What's the address of Baldwin, Commissioner?
Oh, it's at the intersection of MLK and Stokes Boulevard.
Okay. So what time?
10 a.m. it starts.
Okay. So if any member of council wants to go see Baldwin, please, 10 a.m. Saturday, open house. In the meantime, to the committee, thank you very much. We had a lot of legislation today. I appreciate the expedience of the committee. And we will not be meeting as a committee in the summer, so thank you, Director, for getting everything together. At that time, the Committee of Public Utilities stands adjourned until the call of the chair.